Hello, welcome back to the Matthew Brazili YouTube page. I started working, so I figured why not change my email to, because my email is BrazilianMatt@gmail.com, to a more professional email and YouTube channel to show that I have moved up, quote unquote, in the eyes of the professional world. So I want to show you guys today the book that my girlfriend picked up for me for Christmas. It's early, but she was the one that got it for me, and she paid for it, and it's a beautiful book. I'm talking about Submariner number 3 from fall of 1941. It's a beautiful book. The colors are sharp. I am surprised of how well this book presents for the overall age of it and the paper quality. Paper quality is probably off-white to white, maybe cream to off-white. Down here, for some reason, about like a quarter of an inch is darker than the rest of the book. So probably a booklet right here, and just the inside pages are tanner. I don't know what that means. Also, I want to point out two things about this cover. One, it's the only timely Winston Churchill cover of the war. I can't think or find any other covers that have Winston Churchill on it. Two, the guys down here with the helmets, they say air raid. Keep in mind, this time of the war, Winston was desperate for Americans to get into the war because we were not supplying them. This is after the Battle of Berlin. This is after basically the invaded France. So France is gone at this point. 9/11 just happened. So around this time is when the Americans and the British start going to war together. Submariner has went through a really big change. I've noticed he has brown hair in this one, and the V's on his face are not as sharp as his later appearance. He has black hair. A lot of his facial structure has changed, but that chin and those ears, man, he is one pointy dude. And then the later one would be Human Torch number 20. I want to show you before. His eyebrows and his nose and his ears became slightly more pronounced as time went on. This is 44. This is fall of 45, and you can see his ears just got slightly bigger. His head's a little bigger, and his eyebrows are just a little bit more Nancy Pelosi-esque, if you know what I mean. Not to be political, but they remind me of Nancy Pelosi eyebrows. And now I can't unsee it. But yeah, the book is beautiful. It's bigger than a lot of Golden Age books I have. I had to use Super Golden Age Mylars, and those are insanely hard to get. I was debating on removing that grease pen right there, but I'm just going to end up keeping it. It's been on the book since 41, it looks like, so I was like, I'm not going to mess with a book that's older than... God. I was born in 1998, 41. At that time, I wasn't even... My grandparents were not even thinking about having my dad. So this book is older than every living relative that I have, which is I never really thought about that before. And sometimes it makes you wonder where, like, how far this book has came. I don't know where it started from. Was it bought by a kid whose parents were scared out of their minds knowing that we were going to war with Germany again? Was it bought by a guy who was going to get drafted who never made it home? Was it picked up by an older gentleman who just wanted a read? It just makes you wonder, like, where these books originally came from and who read them, who touched them, who enjoyed them. Like, who spent the time and cared for them when they should have been recycled? As most of you know, they had a paper recycling program during the war. Also, a metal shortage. So that's why they only have one staples for those who do not know. This one has two staples. They're still in the book. And I'm just like, makes you wonder that someone at some time saw this book brand new. This book went through World War II, went through Korea. I mean, same thing with these two books too, but went through Korea, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Vietnam, the 70s, the 80s with all that weird stuff, 90s comic crash, the early 2000s with terrorism. So this book basically saw us go from a poor, weak country to a country that, 29 years later went to the moon. Like, I don't think anyone would have thought at this time when they bought this book that we would have the advancements of technology that we have because of World War II and our involvement in it. That's what I do sometimes. I just think about, like, this book has basically seen it all. Same thing with this one too. And this one. I mean, all the ones I have from the Golden Age. But this book made me realize that, like, it's not that far away if you think about it. In 200 years, no, in 100 years, basically, from 1923, we to now, in 100 years, we invented the car that's already been invented. We basically went. I just can't fathom the technology shift, like living through before phones and living before the internet and all that stuff. Keep in mind, I was born in 1998, so I'm still a kid in some guys' eyes, but it just makes you wonder, like, it was a different time, and I wouldn't call it simpler because I wouldn't want to be facing off against two countries. Yeah, we have the capability still, but, like, I wouldn't want that, I guess you can say, stress on my mind with daily updates. Another thing. Look how Schomburg drew the Japanese, right? That one has a, I think that's a Type 89 rifle. That reminds me of the Bren. But look how they drew the Japanese, right? Then look at 1945 fall. I have a feeling these are Sadie Sure Japanese troopers, but he's not listed on the cover art. So I wonder if Schomburg changed his mindset at this time to make it look less like they are all the same. Basically, I mean, those three guys right there look the same. Not to be racist, I'm just saying that, like, compared to this, none of them look the same. Granted, you can't see most of them, but none of them have the same facial structure. The one thing about this cover I never understood as well is, why was there a V2 rocket in the Japanese when they never had the capabilities? At this time, Germany was well surrendered and divided, but the Japanese were still going strong, and well, not strong, I would just say going along with what was happening, and they got the outcome that they kind of deserved. Fun little fact: we were supposed to drop 3 atomic bombs on Japan if it did not surrender. So there's rumors of what village or town it would have been, but it makes you wonder that like it could have dragged on the war. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. Sorry. I want to show you guys the book, and that's kind of it. Thank you. Have a good night.